Good morning, Phoenix class, and welcome to today's maths lesson. I can solve problems involving area and perimeter. Our first question, we have children who have been making cards. So Lee says, we used ribbon to decorate the edges of the cards. We used 32 centimetres of ribbon for each card. Jamila says, your card is square and mine is a rectangle. The length of my card is 10 centimetres. The ribbon fits around each of the cards exactly. What is the area of Lee's card? What is the area of Jamila's card? Well, the first thing we have to do is remember what we learned yesterday. The area of a shape is the space inside it, the space it takes up, whereas the perimeter of the shape is the distance around the outside. So the perimeter of all the cards is 32 centimetres. So let's have a look at Lee's card first of all. We know that Lee's card is a square, so that means each of the sides are the same length. If we know that the perimeter is 32 centimetres and the square has 4 sides, to find the length of each square, we do 32 divided by 4, which gives us 8 centimetres. So we know that the width is 8 centimetres and the length is also 8 centimetres. To find the area, we know that we do the length times the width, or the width times the length. It doesn't matter which way round we do it. So 8 times 8 equals 64 centimetres squared. So that's the area. Now, Jamila said her card was a rectangle and her length was 10 centimetres. We know that the length plus the width plus the length plus the width is 32 centimetres. So to find out what the length plus the width is, we're just going to divide that by 2, which gives us 16 centimetres. So if I know that the length is 10 centimetres and the length plus the width is 16 centimetres, I can do 16, take away 10, and I will find out that the width is 6 centimetres. So now I know the width and the length, so I can multiply those together to get the area. 6 times 10 equals 60 centimetres squared. So Mrs. Dean picks up another card from the table. What could the area of the card be that she chooses? And then it asks you what you notice. So we need to work out other possible lengths and widths. So again, we know that we have 2 lots of the length plus 2 lots of the width equals 32. So 1 lot of the length plus 1 lot of the width must equal 16. So if the width was 3 and the length was 13, that would work. 13 plus 3 equals 16. So the area of A could be 13 times 3, which gives us 39 centimetres squared. What else could we do for the length and the width to get 16? What if the width was 4? That would make the length 12. And then the area of that rectangle would be 12 times 4, which equals 48. And again for C, if the width was 5, then that would make the length 11. So 11 times 5 equals 55. And again for D, if the width was 9, the length would be 7. So 7 times 9 equals 63. Let's have a look at this question. So we have 3 different gardens each have a perimeter of 20 meters. So the perimeter in each garden is the same. We need to find out the missing lengths and widths for each of those rectangles and then find out the area for each garden. Let's look at A first of all. So we're going to think that the total perimeter is 20. We have two sides that are 1 meter. So that means 1 plus 1 equals 2, and we need to find out the length of the other two sides. So we're going to do 20 take away 2, which is 18. 18 divided by 2, because we have two other sides, equals 9. So the length of our garden is 9. So to find the area, all we need to do is 9 times 1, length times width, and that will give us the area of A. Now let's have a look at B. Now B is a square. I know that because the lines tell me that all those sides are equal. So if B is a square and the total perimeter is 20, to find out the length of one side, I'm going to do 20 divided by 4. I will know that the length, I'll know what the length is then, but I will also know what the width. So to find the area, I do length times width. In C, we know that one of the sides is 4 meters. Therefore, we know the other side opposite is also 4 meters. And we need to find what the length is. So we've got two lots of 4 meters, which is 8. We know the total perimeter is 20, so 20 minus 8 is 12. We've got two lengths that equal 12, so 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we know that the length is 6 and the width is 4. You can now work the area out by doing 6 times 4. Look at all your answers. What can you see is the same about the gardens? And what can you see that is different? In this question, you have to calculate the areas and the perimeters for these pairs of shapes and then say what's the same about them and what's different about them. So in A, we've got shape A. We can find the perimeter. Remember, the perimeter is the area around the outside. So we've got 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. We can also find the area. Length times width equals area. Shape B is a little bit different though. To find the area, we are going to have to split our compound shape into 2. So we need to make 2 rectangles. You need to find the area for each of those rectangles. So the one on the top is going to be 1 times 3, whereas the bottom rectangle is going to be 2 times 5. Now be careful when you're finding the perimeter because you've got to count every side around the whole shape rather than thinking about the shape as 2. On B, you're going to do the same. So C, you've got all the information there you need. D, you need to split it into 2 squares. When you get into practice book, we've got 2 pages today, or just this slide to do. So let's have a look at number 1. Calculate the area and the perimeter for each shape. Now, A and B are both compound shapes. So that means you need to split them down into squares or rectangles. So as you can see with A, I've had to make that into 3 different shapes, 2 squares and 1 rectangle. Now I can find out the area for each. Don't forget with the perimeter though, you are counting all the way around the outside of the whole shape. In B, you're going to split that into two. C and D, you're just doing the counting. Part B asks you what you notice about shapes. So you'll be able to answer that once you've filled in the table. Question 2. Find the missing numbers. What do you notice about your answers? So each time you are given the perimeter and one of the sides. So think back as what we did before. You need to work out what the other side is. So remember, if the perimeter is 18, in A, 2 lots of 7 plus 2 lots of something else equals 18. Or if you find it easier, let's halve 18 to make 9. So 7 plus what equals 9. And that what is the other side. Then you can work out the area. In question 3, 3 shapes have a perimeter of 12 centimetres. The area of shape A is 9 centimetres squared. The area of shape B is 5 centimetres squared. And the area of shape C is 8 centimetres squared. So what you want to do, if we look at the first one, shape A is 9 centimetres squared, you want to think of factors of 9. Half of 12 is 6. So you want 2 factors of 9 that add up to make 6. With shape B, you're looking for factors of 5. Remember, B is a prime number. And then you're going to do C as well. Question 4. 2 gardens have a perimeter of 30 centimetres. The area of garden A is 4 times greater than the area of garden B. Work out the dimensions for each garden. So you've got to think about what the size of the sides could be. What could the length be? What could the width be for each one? So in garden B, if the width was 1, what would the length be? It's 4 times bigger. If the width was 2, what would the length be? Keep going until you find a perimeter of 30. If you need more practice, here you are. If you fancy a challenge, there are some questions there for you to have. And then finally, complete your reflection by asking this question. Have fun today. Bye.